Hi, homeschoolers. I'm Heather, and welcome to another Homeschool Live presented by the Old Schoolhouse. Thank you for tuning in today. Today, I will be interviewing Nadim of CTC Math, and both Nadim and I would be extremely grateful if you could take a minute right now and share this video in your timeline and send it to anybody that you know who may be struggling with teaching their kids math, or their children are struggling with math, because he has an excellent program he's going to share with you today. Also, make sure you comment, like, and ask questions that we can answer throughout the interview. And now I'm really looking forward to introducing you to Nadim. He looks after all things CTC Math and has been working with the team for 8 years. He has a college degree in math and economics. He and his wife have been married for 5 years and have 3 children. And one which is almost 3 months. He has an enormous passion for homeschooling and a great admiration for homeschooling parents. And I just want to say Nadim is joining us from Australia. So it is bright and early for him this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate this.
No, thanks for having me, Heather. It's awesome. It's awesome to jump on this live, and I'm excited.
We're excited too. So could you please share with us about CTC Math?
Yes. So CTC Math is an online math curriculum. It's built by homeschoolers for homeschoolers. Pat Murray is an internationally acclaimed teacher and the voice behind the program, really. So Pat started teaching, started his program in Australia about 26 years ago. And we're currently in Australia, of course, the US, New Zealand, UK, South Africa, and some various other countries as well. But CTC Math has been in the US for 8 years now, and we have about 36,000 plus homeschooling families currently using CTC Math, which has been amazing. The response has been awesome. So we're loving it. We're absolutely loving it. I think we were just talking just before I want to move to the US.
Yeah, I mean, and we love it too. We here in the States, when we see CTC Math, you mentioned the man who's the voice behind. My kids, when they tried it a few years ago, they just loved the Australian accent. Like that just drew them in, I think, because it was just something different. So like having an Australian teacher just was really exciting to them.
The 2 points of feedback that we mainly get is very soothing and engaging. Because of the accent, I think it just gets kids going. And I was speaking to a parent yesterday, and she was telling me how her children, when they type in their answers, they do it in their best Aussie accent. So loving it.
That is so cute. So could you explain exactly how the curriculum works? Because I think what makes CTC Math stand out is a parent essentially can set their kid down, and that is their math for the day. It's self-grading. Can you explain basically when a child begins the program how it works?
Yeah. Now there's a lot here, so I hope I don't forget anything. But we're K-12, and we're K-12. And you have access to all lessons from all grades. Now, this is really important because students really do learn at their own pace, aided with the video tutorials where you can stop, rewind, fast forward. Students can really focus on the areas that they're struggling with and plugging any gaps, as well as when you switch from curriculum to curriculum. It's really important that they're not all going to be the same. So you have that flexibility. And students are able to log in and follow the lesson order. And really, as you mentioned, Heather, you can be as hands-on and as hands-off as you want. There's the ability to do things like add tasks, or you can just have your student work through the lesson order. The program is adaptive, so it recognizes if a student's doing really, really well. Okay. And the questions will get progressively more difficult.
Wow.
At the same time, if a student's struggling, it will pull the questions back.
Really?
So it's intuitive, and the multisensory approach helps students when it comes to retention. learning those concepts, really understanding them.
Okay. I love how you say that it's intuitive, because I think a lot of parents, they're scared to just leave their kid there. But if, it will go over questions that they're struggling with, that's what every parent wants for their child, because they don't want them just to get done with a worksheet or done with, a subject, but to really get it.
That's right.
So is there a placement test that they can use?
I was just about to say there's a lot of consolidated learning as well. There's what's called the diagnostic tests, which are fantastic as a pre-test or a post-test, which you can use as a placement test. We have a really detailed video on how to use those in our user guide for parents getting started, as well as the weekly revision sets, which are fantastic in colorful, printable, or downloadable. You can also customize your own worksheets. So there's a tool within the parents area, and this goes down to how hands-on you want to be. It's completely up to you. We just give you all the tools. Depending on your child and your circumstances, you can choose to use the ones that you need. But the worksheets, which you can customize, you can go in, set the level of difficulty, how many questions across how many lessons, and it produces a worksheet. It's fantastic.
That's incredible. And I was actually going to ask you that too. I was wondering if there was any extra activities. So it's not just what is right there on the website, but there's, like you said, the printables and other activities that the parents can use. I love that. That's awesome.
That's right. We also have a great Facebook community. So anyone who's registered to CTC Math and hasn't joined the parents group on Facebook, highly recommend it. There's a lot of engaging conversations that go on there.
And I know that CTC Math, if you're a homeschooler and you've never heard of it, I mean, it's pretty popular. And if you've never heard of it and your child is struggling, I mean, I'm laughing because I was at an event a few months ago and I overheard a conversation between two moms. And one mom was like, I just don't know what to do for my daughter. She was maybe 15. And the other mom was like, oh, CTC Math has been a lifesaver. And so, I mean, it's definitely well known among the homeschool community, but there's still a lot of people haven't heard of it. So I'm excited to be able to talk about it because, math is hard for a lot of parents. If they don't have a grip on it or didn't do well in school, then they are afraid to teach their kids it. So if having these resources is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Particularly taking that heavy burden of teaching math. It's a difficult subject to teach. And just having someone with the video tutorials sit down, have your child sit down, have the concepts explained to them. It makes life so much easier.
And I just want to go over this again. Stephanie shared that she loves that her kiddos can go back and watch the video lessons as many times as needed. Like you said, this is self-paced. And so, if you're in like a school structure and you miss what the teacher's saying, you kind of miss it unless you want to stay after school and have her explain it. So here, they can go over it again. And I also just want to encourage parents listening. It's okay. If your child is struggling with multiplication, it's okay to you don't have to, meet a certain benchmark. You can go back. You can go over what they're struggling with and then move on to the next step. So that's great that you provide that option.
Yeah. It's very important, and I'm surprised that other programs don't offer the access to all lessons from all grades, because math is very much a building block, and you need those foundations. Right. You need to be able to go back and the converse situation where a child is doing really, really well and wants to kick on, you don't want to hold them back.
Right. Absolutely. That's a good point, because I have a child who just is better in math than I am, and so, I don't want to hold him back, but just let him, keep going and keep moving, along in his skills. And I don't want him to just be grade level, but if he's moving ahead, he can move ahead. And, if your child is struggling, you might not know that the problem really is they just don't know subtraction. They may be struggling with division, but you don't know. So I love that, that might become more evident, while they're using this program, and they can, repeat things and get to that point where they can actually master these skills. So I'm curious, what do you see as the biggest challenge when it comes to teaching math right now?
I guess right now we have the COVID situation, but just putting that aside for 1 second, and we could maybe get to that if you want. But I think the biggest challenge in general is when a child has lost all confidence, when the confidence is gone, because everything will seem impossible to the child. They lose courage, they lose interest in and almost give up in wanting to try. So I think that is the biggest challenge. And it's a challenge that we know all too well, and we've seen before. In terms of I'm a guy. I always think solutions. When I say a problem, I think solutions. My wife just tells me, "You got to listen, husband. You got to listen." I don't need a solution right now. But I think if you have a child that is lacking confidence, whether it be math or any other subject, and it flows on, it really does flow on. It will start affecting other subjects and other aspects of life. Try to create a fresh, exciting start environment. Try to change things up. Try something new. I think that's really, really important, because if they see the same thing over and over and over again, then that fog, that barrier is still going to be there.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
And if you think about what's popular is STEM and STEAM, and I think that gets kids really engaged. And I think it's because it shows that, all these aspects, math, coincides with all these other subjects. So if they can have confidence in that, then, they'll have confidence in other areas.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to take a little break here from the questions because Nadim shared with me earlier today that today is your national holiday?
Correct. It's Australia Day.
So let's have a little history lesson thrown in here. Could you share with our viewers a little bit about Australia Day? We would love to know about it.
Yeah, for sure. It's we're a day ahead. So I can tell you tonight's lotto results. So it's actually January 26th.
Oh.
And it is our national holiday,
Okay.
Australia Day. And and I love Australia Day. It's a public holiday, so normally I don't work. So, but I don't classify this as work. This is fun. This is what I actually enjoy most about my job, having conversations. And it's 5:15 almost in the morning. So we're a day ahead, and it's cool. Every time you speak to someone in the US, they think I'm in the future. It's a bit of
that's what it seems like. It was probably confusing emailing back and forth when I said the 25th, and in your mind you had to think, okay, that's really the 26th.
Well, I just looked at the day and I said that's one day, so that's fine. That's a Tuesday for me, so I'll be fine. I'll be free.
So go ahead.
I didn't really think I didn't add the 1 to the 25 thinking 26. I just added the Monday to Tuesday. Yeah, that's fine.
So are there any traditions that you do, your family does for Australia Day?
Yeah, a great Aussie BBQ. Have everyone over. With COVID this year, it's a little bit difficult. Okay. It won't happen. But we're planning a picnic. So we're going to go out. It won't be the Aussie BBQ at home that we normally have. Yes, it's just about having everyone together. It's always hot around this time of year.
Is
and
it
it's going to
summer
be a
right now?
scorcher. Sorry.
Is it summer right now?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. It's always a scorcher, and 36 degrees Celsius. Now I know that's not in Fahrenheit. Let me
That's
get
hot.
that for you. Just let me get that for you. Give me 1 sec.
I know that's hot. I can't do the math in my head, but I want to say high 80s maybe. I'm just going to guess. Oh, maybe 90s because that wouldn't really be hot.
96.8.
96. Oh no.
So it'll be about 96.8 today. It might get a bit higher. Might get up towards 100.
Wow.
And yeah, so traditionally it's always this hot.
Well, it sounds
It's
like
such a great day to bring the family together and celebrate being in Australia.
So I love that. I love that you can still, make ways to get together, even though COVID, we all have to, Christmas was difficult for us, and I'm sure for, the whole world, just having to adjust to the situation. How do you feel? Have you heard any testimonies about how CTC Math has helped families adjust during COVID?
Yeah. All around the world, not just the US. So I guess being an online platform, a lot of families were, I say forced, because that's the way it comes across, but maybe it was more like presented to homeschool. And that now became, and that was that's what they had to do. And they needed a solution, particularly when it comes to the difficult subject of teaching math. And that we have heard a lot of testimonies. We've heard a lot of stories how CTC Math certainly did help, as I'm sure a lot of programs out there did, and a lot of curriculums really stepped in, and but we got to meet a lot of new people, a lot of fresh faces, and it's been great because there's certainly a greater appreciation of homeschooling now today.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think that's really good. I think it's great. I have such admiration for parents who really take up their children's education, who really, make it their primary goal to educate their children. And it might sound so simple, but practically it's not always simple, is it?
No.
With so many influences, with everything, with difficulties of life.
Yeah.
And homeschooling is a real opportunity for that.
And I think a lot of parents who were kind of introduced or, had to start homeschooling or maybe just do virtual schooling, they may not realize that they don't have to, in the States at least, they don't have to use the government school anymore, but they can choose. In all 50 states, it's legal to homeschool. So you can actually choose to use your own curriculum. So CTC Math is one of those options when it comes to math. That's one of the beauties of homeschooling is we can pick and choose what curriculum we want for each subject. So if our child is struggling with math, or we know that we can't teach math, so we want to provide them with an online option, then this is absolutely perfect. So
and no one child, everyone needs unique options. And while CTC Math or another program or another curriculum might be a great general choice for 80, 90%, 95% of students, it's not going to be everyone's. It's every child is unique. Every child will respond differently to different approaches.
Yeah.
And I always say this to parents, you've got to find what works for your children. And here's a plug. But an important bit of information as well. CTC Math comes with a 12-month money-back guarantee. That we don't want any families feeling like they've purchased CTC Math, it didn't work for their child for whatever reason, and they had to switch curriculum.
Yeah.
So it's important. how I got onto that was you were talking about the classroom setting. So they might have one mold or one solution for 30, 25, 25, 30 kids.
Right.
But that might not be the solution for your child.
That's right.
And we really need to find what works for our children. This is really important. And it goes back to the confidence thing. Find what's going to put a smile on their face, what's going to give them the aha light bulb moment.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. Seeing that live, seeing a child have an aha moment is brilliant.
It's rewarding as a parent. Absolutely.
For sure.
So I want to start getting into some of these questions because, like you were saying, building confidence. This question, how does CTC Math help with teaching a special needs child?
So I think depending on what the circumstances are, and Patty, I really recommend that you email us, info, I-N-F-O, @ctcmath.com. And if you give us a little bit more information, we can go into a little bit more depth. We can even give you a call. Kirsty and Jordan are fantastic with responding to inquiries and questions. But just a few points on that. I think the access to all lessons to all grades is very important. So children work at their own pace. The video tutorials using the multi-sensory approach, where even the questions are read out to you if you want. There's a speaker button and you can click a button and the questions are read out. And the engaging interactive questions really, really keep children focused. We also have the worksheet option. So depending on the needs and the circumstances, you might only want to do the interactive questions. And the program, I think I spoke about a few of these things earlier, but the program being adaptive. So recognizing that the student's struggling and dropping down the difficulty, and the child doesn't even know it.
Yeah, I think that's great. The younger grades, I feel like there's a lot of color images, right, to keep them engaged. Like if they're learning counting in addition, there's different, I can't remember, but different pictures, So yeah. I feel like it's not just numbers that they're looking at. I mean, it's very engaging.
Yes. And we were very purposeful about this all because we didn't want to turn into a babysitting tool. Yeah. We didn't want to, and I'm not knocking any programs, but we didn't want the child spending 45 minutes creating an avatar each day and doing 5 minutes of math.
Right.
That's not what we're about. And we've never been about that. And but at the same time, you don't want to be a boring, outdated graphics where kids just, they're so over. I mean, with all these industries spending so much money on making things bright and engaging, you didn't want to be completely dull either.
Yeah.
To the point where kids are just tuning out and think it's just looks sad and looks boring and so we've been very purposeful about this, finding the correct balance. We've been open to feedback. We're always open to feedback. We listen. So if there's anything that you think of, please let us know.
That's wonderful. Devon wants to know, are there family options for CTC Math or individual to each child?
Yes. So we certainly do have a family membership. You can register for an individual single student membership. Our family membership is very, very friendly. The family pricing is very, very friendly. So a family membership will cover all your children.
Okay.
So if you have, by default, it's set to 5. But if you have 7, 8, 9, just send us an email. And we increase that student limit. A message pops up actually. So once you hit your student limit.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because a lot of parents, in the homeschool would appreciate that.
When I said built by homeschoolers for homeschoolers,
you say that, yes, they understand.
Yeah, generally homeschooling families the tend to have more children, and Pat Murray's one of them. If you go to our website, Pat's got 9 children, so
wow.
So he could relate to the challenges and the costs of and this is where things like the 12-month money back guarantee come from Pat. the all your children. You don't have to pay for each child. Access to all lessons from all games. He gets it. He really, really does get it. Setting tasks as a parent, that option being there. But what I was going to say is that we also offer a homeschooling discount. It's a half price discount. So if you visit our website, just be sure to click on the homeschooling tab, and that activates, or that brings up the new pricing. And it works out to be very affordable. It's $148.50 for 12 months.
That's incredible.
For all your children.
Wow.
If you subscribe to the Old Schoolhouse magazine, you probably would have seen an email where it's one better on those emails. It works out to be $148.50 for all your children for 18 months. We throw in a bonus 6 months.
Wow.
So subscribe to the Old Schoolhouse magazine or send us an email and we'll give you that offer. That's
incredible. Jamie shares that parent reports are great. I don't know. Did you touch on that? She must have used the program. Oh, you did. Okay.
No, I didn't touch on that. Touch on that, but I can quickly. They're colorful, and colorful in the sense of it's really quick and easy to identify where a student is doing well and where a student is struggling. Yeah. They're extremely detailed, and you can nail down to what level of detail you want. We have a summary report, a detailed report. We also have a report which shows when a child is logged in, which videos they've viewed, how long they've been on for.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So it's more like a student log of activity. And these are all separate reports. And you pick and choose which one you want to see and download. Okay. All the tools are there. You pull out the tools that you want to use.
So my second to last question, if you could give parents one piece of advice right now, what would that be?
I think the piece of advice that I give all parents, including myself, is there's going to be moments of difficulty. Persevere. Keep up the good fight. Keep struggling. Anything worth having or worth attaining is not easy. There's nothing in the world that's worth having that is easy to attain. Bringing up our children is difficult, and I know having 3 under the age of 5. Emma's 4.5, Chloe's 2.5, Sebastian's 3 months, and we're really feeling it with the third. It's felt like a big jump from having 1 or even having 2. Just having that third and having 3 that constantly need you. Yeah, there's no downtime, and some parents are probably going, "You got it easy, mate," and I probably do. And we get.
It's a hard time. That's a hard age.
We build up to it maybe, and we build up to it. So, but keep going. It's worth it. It's fantastic. The rewards. I see my father-in-law, and the number 9's been thrown out a lot. But he's got 9 children as well. My wife's one of 9, but they're all grown up now, and it's amazing. It's such an amazing family, and you see the fruits of it. Yeah. And such a well balanced. I mean, I'm 1 of 5, which is above the average, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But seeing 9 all around together on the and now Tamara's married with grandchildren, and there's a few others that are married. It's just an amazing dynamic, and there's great rewards along the way. Yeah. But at the end, I think is when it just really all goes wow. When you see your children grow up, and I think you call what do you call retirement funds in the US? Is it 401k?
401k. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My father-in-law has a saying that his 401k is his children. That's his sort of that's his, and he doesn't mean it from a financial sense. He means it from that's his future. That's what he's gearing up his life for. So keep going. It gets difficult, but we need to keep going. And I need that message too.
Yeah, it's good advice. Yeah, I had 3, around that age range, and now they're a little older, and now I have another set of younger 2. And yeah, the younger age is definitely hard. And Patty, she wants to share that it was hardest going from 2 to 3 kids for me, because I think at that point you just realize that you're dead to yourself and you have to give everything to them, which is a blessing and good, but it's just dying daily. The Bible talks about dying daily. It's just what we have to do so we can receive that reward, and it is 100% worth it. Absolutely.
Amen to that.
So, could you let us know one more time before we sign off how we can learn more about CTC Math?
Yeah, for sure. So if you visit our website, ctcmath.com, also email, call us. We are in, as I said, we are in Australia. So we have a US help desk. They're equipped to answer basic FAQs, but they tend to leave us with a message and we call you back. And any email, any questions you can send via social media as well. So there's a website, phone, email, social media. You can learn more about us if you have any questions. If you want to talk to me, if there's something that you heard on this video and you want to talk to me, just ask for me, and I'll be more than happy to reach out.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you, viewers, for tuning in.
I was just going to say thank you, and thank you to the Old Schoolhouse magazine for everything that you do for homeschoolers. I think it's fantastic. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Nadim. We appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time on Homeschool